Hello everyone, welcome back to this episode of Bitcoin Trade. In this episode, I guess I'll do a chart analysis, and you're probably all wondering what's going on with the price. So let me see if I can figure out what's going on with the price. And if you haven't noticed, it's been going down. So a quick way to tell that's been going down is I'm on a 12-hour. I'm on Bitfin here. See Bitfin right there, and that's the current price right now is 379. So a quick way to find out that it's been going down in price is if you just look at the left side, if it's higher and the right side is lower, it's been going down. So it's been going down for a long time now. So at this point you have to kind of pull back a little bit. So I'm just going to pull back to like a daily now, from 12-hour to a daily, and then you might get a little bit a slightly better picture. So anyways, right around here is when it broke out of the other downtrend, and it popped up, came down, ranged for a while, came here, and then it broke down. So what you saw right there was from here to there, and so it's been going down. So the good news is that it's cheaper to buy Bitcoin. So if y'all been buying or selling, whatever you've been doing, you've been noticing that for the same amount of money you get a lot more Bitcoins, right? So anyways, so in this episode I'm going to try to explain how you can limit your risk or losses, and most importantly how to try to make a gain going down, and what signals to look out for if it starts turning, or what to look for to see if it's turning. So I'm going to go back to a 12-hour, and this is what I usually do is, and I think I mentioned it before, is I do a little bit of both, because I'm always using my Bitcoins. Let me see if I could get this thing to focus. There we go. I'm using my Bitcoins for various things, for trade, for payments, for investing, and converting, exchanging, transacting, just a whole bunch of stuff. So that's why I'm always buying to use them. And so I have my limit buy orders, and then I'm playing a channel or a range as well, so I might limit sell orders as well. So I want to buy at a low price, for example, trying to buy down here, have it range, hoping that it might go up, which I mentioned in my previous episode. So it did go up here, so I did take advantage of the prices I've been buying while going down, and so I did make a gain on that. So I bought more Bitcoins, average cost going down, and as the price moved up, I already had my sell limits as it was going up as well. And so but this is just trading on the exchange, and putting your limits on your buy and sell. In the physical world, as far as trading Bitcoin for legal tender, I have not seen too much slowing down. I've seen Bitcoins get tougher to get in some areas, and in other areas, um, they're easier to get. And so that's what's going on in the physical world. So where you are and what market you're in depends on what you're doing. And if you're in a seller's market, you're probably selling. If you're in a buyer's market, which I think that's harder to find, you're obviously buying. And so, well, let me take that back. If you're trying to buy and sell, because anyone can pretty much, I guess there's always a buyer if it's a seller's market, but trying to find a seller like a miner, it seems to be getting harder to find. And so that's what's going on in the physical world anyway. On the exchanges, it looks like there's a lot of Bitcoins being sold. So in this particular case, where it's easier just to buy the Bitcoins, it's possible that you can just go ahead and if whatever company you're using or whatever exchange you're using, you could probably send some money there just to buy the Bitcoins. Because at these prices, it's so much easier and cheaper to do it than trying to actually mine for Bitcoins. I don't know if anybody's mining out there, but I don't mine. I strictly just trade for the most part. And so so here's how you take advantage of like a turn. Is you just have to say to yourself where at what price you're comfortable at buying, and what I do is I average costs at certain areas that even though the price is going down on average, it's not as worse of a loss, if that makes sense. And what I'm really doing is I'm just trying to buy more Bitcoins at a lower price because I use them. So instead of buying all my Bitcoins here and trying to use my Bitcoins while the price has been going down, you're losing. So what I'm doing is I know how much Bitcoins I'm going to be using since I'm using them, and I'm just buying them in average cost, and as soon as I get them, I use them, if that makes sense. At the same time, another strategy I'm doing is I'm just following the last high, and until it breaks that high, I'm not really buying at market, if that makes sense. So I'm putting more limits and letting people sell into my orders. And depending on whatever exchange you're going, you get a better trading rate, or maybe you've increased your trades and you're getting a better trading rate. So every bit helps. But at this point, it has not broken out of that. So that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for basically these two to actually turn over and stay over. And then I would buy on a dip. So if it would pop out and it dipped down, that's when I would probably buy as my strategy, knowing that it's already broken out. It's just coming down, and what happens is the previous high becomes a support line when it breaks out and bounces down and then shoots up again. So that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for that particular signal. When I see that signal, I know that's when I'm going to be buying more Bitcoins to hold for the move up. So that's the signal I'm waiting for. Until then, I'm just playing an average cost strategy of just, I kind of wait for it hit to this line and below to start my average cost buying. And so if it hits down, it's hitting those. And what's interesting is that when you're testing new bottoms, they don't always just break down, like, not always like this. Sometimes, or like this. In either case, if they do, they usually have a bounce. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for this bounce back up, because let's say you bought here, it's a loss, but you bought here, you're breaking even, then you bought 2 or 3 more down here. Well, those 2, 3 are going to make the money. Everything else just covers the cost of these other trades up here. And net result is you made a gain. So that's the point I'm making when you're taking that strategy. And that's kind of what I've been doing. But I'm waiting for that signal, that turnover signal, saying that it's going to go back up again. So that's what I'm waiting for, and that's what you should be probably waiting for. But maybe that'll never happen. Maybe it'll just keep going down forever until nothing. Who knows? So anyways, that's the chart analysis. And so the reason I did chart analysis first, I'm sure everyone's always wondered what's going on with the price. But also I got some, let me see here. I got some, I read a lot of these articles, so everyone's probably wondering what's going on. Bitcoin price watershed, water cannon or waterfall. Well, it looks like a waterfall so far. So there's some interesting articles right there. Anyways, let me go back to the price, and that's basically my short analysis of what's going on with the price. And if you're trading both in real life and in virtual reality, you can still make a gain. It's not impossible. And especially when the prices go down, for me, since I'm a user as well as an investor, it's just cheaper for me to get more Bitcoins. That's how I see it. So it's just more for me to use or hold on to, or the gains I make I hold in Bitcoin. So I'll just hold on to them because they're so cheap. In my opinion, they're like, well, they're getting cheaper by the minute, I guess. But if you ask me if I'd rather buy now at this price or now at that price, I would always say, well, let me buy at this price if I could, and I usually try to. So that's kind of my point, is I'm buying at this price instead of at this price. It's, I don't know if that helps or not, but anyways, I guess that concludes this episode. It's been a while since I've done a straight chart analysis, but seeing what's going on right now with the price, it's just continually going down. But if you look at it again, pull back to a daily, and even pull back a little bit more, and you'll see that it's actually hitting up against this support line area right around here. If I could just point that out here a little bit. So this particular bottom here is, I guess, the support line that might be hitting here before it, and this is another indication that it might take another bounce up here. Now, if it's a very long downtrend, it's just right. What it's really doing is just it's moved up so fast, and it's moving down. It's just going into a huge. This is a very huge triangle, right? So if you just think of it like that, so there could be another bounce up here, and maybe another bounce before it decides to break up again, or fall down further, which it would be probably this line right here, which is $100, I believe. Yeah, $100 would be the next fall in price if it did fall. It'd go back down to $100, everyone, and that's pretty darn cheap. Anyways, if it does, I would still be buying them, just to use. Anyways, if it did go that low, I mean, it's a range in price. It's no different if you just look back further to when it was smaller, which you have to go to Bitstamp on that. And even then, you have to, you may have to go to 3 weeks to get a whole story here. There you go. And you know, you'll see this. It looks very familiar, and then it just goes into just a little triangle before it just decides to move one direction or the other. So when I see this, it just looks like it's playing out this in some way, shape, or form. A little different though. You're seeing a lot more details as this is being magnified. So that's what you're looking at. And I think what you really could be looking at is just a range. Because if you look at this, it almost seemed to have ranged after that. Just up, going down, up, down. And this could be a same scenario. That's another thing you got to do is sometimes you really got to pull back and kind of see a whole bigger picture. So this is going to be really key right here. If it can bounce from here and range up again, come back down, or if it's going to fall below. And if it falls below further than that, then let me see here. That says 2 something. You see Bitfin price was like 100, which is right about here. So 100 would be right about here as a support before it originally shot up to 1,000. So being 100, I think there's something at $100. I would encourage everyone to put a limit buy order at 100, buy 1 Bitcoin, and or whatever. If you do 1,000, that'd be 10 Bitcoins, whatever you want to do. Put something down here. I mean, it'd be so cheap, and it'd be interesting to see what happens, because there could be another flash crash, and then it could just pull right back up, and you'd be really making a lot of money for a short trade. So that's another scenario that maybe you want to think about. Anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. I'm going to try to end it with Bitfin here on a 12-hour. There you go. So feel free to like, dislike, leave a comment. Also do a video response. Until next time, stay tuned. Bye.